It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Houston Astros. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday evening to you. Hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Meanwhile, for the Dodgers, trying to pick up where they left off, and tonight trying to win their 20th home game of the year against the Astros. They beat Houston 2 out of 3 in Texas and welcome them here for a 3-game series and start off with Clayton Kershaw against Lucas Harrell. Clayton Kershaw, he's been remarkable, and especially here. You know, he has a string, 22 consecutive scoreless innings. More importantly, in his last 19 starts at Dodger Stadium, he is 14-1. We'll get to the ball game, and we'll have a whole lot more right after this. Jack in the Box. Try the new Chipotle Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. Buy 76 Gas. We're on the driver's side. By San Manuel Indian Bingo and Casino. Play Lucky 7 Bingo. You could win $100,000. And by the full line of fuel-efficient vehicles at your Southern California Toyota dealer.
Hey, welcome back, and we're moments away from Dodger baseball. Start of 3 with the Astros as the Dodgers try to improve on their league-best 19-4 home record. With Steve Lyons, I'm Patrick O'Neill. Happy anniversary. 4 years ago on this date, May 25, 2008, the Major League debut of Clayton Kershaw. And in the 3 years since, Steve, every fifth day we're really seeing almost brilliance night in, night out.
Yeah, you're absolutely seeing brilliance. You're seeing the best pitcher in the game every time he takes the mound. If you're thinking about missing a Dodger game every once in a while, don't miss it when this guy's pitching, because he's awesome. Wearing number 54, just 20 years old. He was not ready to be here. There's no question about that. He only had 2 pitches. He was very, very wild. He didn't hold runners on very well, but what a tremendous maturation process since that time. It just clicked, and all of a sudden he threw nothing but strikes. He commanded the strike zone. And you got to remember, this guy didn't get his first win until he made his 10th start in the major leagues. He couldn't find a way to get a win, but last time he faced the Houston Astros, he struck out 9. Look for double-digit strikeouts in tonight's contest.
It was really nice to see Torrey and those guys in the lineup and in the dugout greeting him, and wow, what 4 years, how good he's been. So what can we expect from Curse tonight? Stick around to find out. Vince got the call next.
Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Hyundai. This Memorial Day, start summer off right with blazing savings at your Southern California Hyundai dealer. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By CarMax, start the search for your next car at CarMax. Start here. And by Dodge. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday evening to you, wherever you may be. The Dodgers home here at Dodger Stadium, hosting a 7-game homestand. First, it'll be Brad Mills and the Houston Astros for 3, followed by Ron Renicky and the Milwaukee Brewers for 4, and then the Dodgers will go out on the road. For the Astros, who arrive here with a 3-game hitting streak, here's the way they stack up. Jose Altuve will be at second base, Jed Lowry at short, and Jamie Contis in left field. Carlos Lee at first and Matt Downs in right. Justin Maxwell is in center, Chris Johnson at third, Chris Snyder behind the plate, and Lucas Harrell on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw, who comes in with some rather remarkable numbers. 4-1, an ERA under 2, 22 consecutive scoreless innings, and in his last 19 starts here at Dodger Stadium, he is 14-1. And tonight, he celebrates a 4th anniversary of the day when he first started in the major leagues right here. 22 consecutive innings, that's the longest string of his career. And one note carrying into the first inning. It seemed in the past, especially in those early years, Clayton had so much trouble in the first inning. This year, he's allowed only 2 hits in 31 at-bats for the opponents in the first inning. A couple of years ago, he went the entire season, you might remember, without retiring the side in order in the first inning until his last start of the year. So we'll see how he goes tonight. Jose Altuve at the plate, and the little guy takes a strike, and they count 0-1. We say little guy, it's very much under discussion just how big he is. There are those who, well, he's listed at 5'6". Some say he's closer to 5'4". He shies away and takes a strike, and they count 0-2. He might be small of stature, but he's hitting .309. He has 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. The next pitch is fouled away. Altuve, his first major league home run was a leadoff inside the park home run against Madison Bumgarner, making Altuve the first player whose first major league home run was to lead off a game and an inside the parker since Hall of Fame Richie Ashburn did it back in 1948. Meanwhile, the little man promptly bangs one down the left field line into the corner. Playing the carom is Abreu, and Altuve steams into second base with a stand-up double. Let's take a look at the Dodgers with the leather, and the outfield goes this way: Abreu, Gwynn, and Depier. The infield, it will be Hairston returning to the wars, Gordon, Herrera, and Loney, and the battery of A.J. Ellis and Clayton Kershaw. So for Jerry Hairston, after pulling the hamstring, he has finally come back. The latest report we get on Juan Rivera and Matt Kemp, that at the end of the week, around the 29th, they'll play over in Albuquerque with the Isotopes before returning to the big leagues. Meanwhile, Jed Lowry is the batter. He takes a strike, and the count 0-1. For Altuve, standing out there at second base, and we were commenting about it before the game, seems like I've never seen so many base hits on a no-ball, 2-strike count. Kershaw ready, back he comes and works it high, and the count 1-1 to Jed Lowry. The Astros are not a particularly offensive ball club, a little more so at home. They only have hit 7 home runs on the road this year. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way, poke foul off to the right of the plate, and the count to Jed 1-2. So Brad Mills bringing a young ball club in that is playing very well of late, not only winning 3 straight, they're in third place, just 4 games behind the Cincinnati Reds. 1-2 to Lowry. Out of Salem, Oregon. He hits a lot of ground balls. The strike 2 pitch is swung on and missed, and down he goes. So Lowry strikes out. Altuve holding at first, and the batter now will be J.D. Martinez. Game a little bit on the cool side. At the first pitch tonight, it was 59 degrees. So J.D. Martinez, on an otherwise gorgeous evening, a line of clouds way off in center field with a canopy of blue overhead. J.D., that stands for Julio Daniel. And Julio Daniel will walk a bit for you. He has 3 home runs, 25 runs batted in, check swing foul, and instead catcher's interference. And there's a rare thing to see at any time, and Martinez is awarded first. We used to call it tipping the bat. So the Dodgers somewhat in shock. A.J. Ellis obviously reaching out for the pitch, and the swing of the bat catches the top of his mitt, and because of that, it's catcher's interference. So Martinez safely aboard with runners at first and second and 1 out, and probably the big man in the lineup, and that would be Carlos Lee. Carlos Lee, in the last 5 weeks, comes into this game hitting .410. He has 4 home runs, 21 runs batted in. So Kershaw in a jam here, and the first pitch, big bouncer to third, Hairston down to second. It's turned instead to a wild throw. Coming to the plate is Altuve to score, and the Astros are on the board. So the Dodgers on a good play by Hairston, but then his throw down to second, and Herrera trying to make the throw on Lee threw it up against the protective railing of the Astro dugout. Loney tried, couldn't backhand it. So Lee is aboard. Force play. Martinez, who was there on catcher's interference, is forced. Altuve goes to third on the force play and scores on the throw. And it is 1-0 in favor of Houston. Matt Downs, right-hand batter, and he takes a strike. Fielder's choice on the play, no run batted in. One thing about Kershaw, every hitter, the first pitch is a strike. So he's down 1-0 in the first inning. Carlos Lee at first, and the next pitch ground ball to third at the hop, and the play by Hairston to Herrera, and that's that. However, the Astros get a run. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. So it's time for Lucas Harrell to go to work, and as he goes out there, he's already leading 1-0. .12 pitchers. Now we'll see about the Dodger lineup. Tony Gwynn in center, Elian Herrera at second, and Bobby Abreu in left. Andre Ethier hits cleanup in right. Jerry Hairston will be at third base, and James Loney at first. A.J. Ellis behind the plate. D. Gordon the shortstop. Clayton Kershaw on the mound. On the mound for the Astros, Lucas Harrell, 6'2", 200-pounder out of Springfield, Missouri. Originally a fourth-round pick by the White Sox out of Ozark High School in Missouri. We can tell you more than that about him as the right-hander deals a strike. Number one, he is about 11th in the league in home runs allowed. He gets a lot of ground balls, 2.5 ground balls to every fly ball, so obviously he has a good sinker working. 0-1 the count to Tony Gwynn, batting .295. He fouls a pitch away, and the count 0-2. Tony doing a very good job, especially in the difficult role of leading off. He's hit safely in his last 7 starts. So the Dodgers down 1-0. 2 errors in the first inning. The rare catcher's interference error charged to Ellis, and then Herrera throwing the ball away on the double play. Meanwhile, Gwynn a ground ball to Jose Altuve, and Gwynn is out, 1 away. We can take a look at the Astros defensively. They stack up with Martinez, Maxwell, and Downs in the outfield. The infield, Johnson and Lowry, Altuve and Lee. And behind the plate, Harrell's favorite catcher, Chris Snyder. 1 away in the first inning. Elian Herrera, who certainly impressed the last week or so and has earned another start at second base, hitting .346 since he came up. Switch hitter takes a fastball for a strike, and the count 0-1. Herrera with a little 6-game hitting streak. He had a couple of doubles Wednesday night in Arizona. He has a look at a pitch low, 1 ball and 1 strike. So Herrera with Abreu on deck. Dodgers and the Astros over the last 20 games have split them. Herrera fouls it away, 10 each. However, the last 4 games played here at Dodger Stadium, Dodgers have won all 4, doing that last year against Brad Mills. Dodgers come in here having won 19 and losing 4 at Dodger Stadium. 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball fouled off, and that's at 94. So Elian Herrera battling Lucas Harrell. Harrell was on the Team USA in the World Cup 3 years ago, middle relief, 10 scoreless innings. And his 1-2 pitch fouled away again. What he features is a 2-seam sinker. That's where he gets all the ground balls. He also has a 4-seamer, kind of a slurvy slider. And they say his sinking changeup now is developing as quite an out pitch. Harrell looks in to get a sign. 1-2 pitch to Herrera is flared into left field. That'll be a base hit. Played on a hop by J.D. Martinez, who gets it back in. So Herrera now has hit in 7 straight. And the batter will be Bobby Abreu. 1-0 in favor of the Astros, bottom of the first inning. Abreu hitting .314 with a half a dozen runs batted in. Broke in the big leagues way back when in 1996 with the Houston Astros. So Lucas Harrell facing Bobby Abreu. In 1996, when he broke in with the Astros, he only appeared in 15 games. The next year, 59 games, and then moved on to the Phillies, where he really had a career. He takes a strike on the first pitch. Well, maybe not. 1 ball and no strikes the count. We saw Tim Welke, the veteran umpire behind the plate, move a bit. So 1-0 the count to Bobby Abreu. On deck, Andre Ethier. 1-0 Houston, first inning. Harrell comes back, and this one's in at the knees for a strike. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. A welcome to Tim Welke, the chief of this crew. 28 years in the big leagues. Born in Michigan and lives in Michigan. 1 ball and 1 strike to Bobby Abreu. Harrell out of a stretch. Luke is set. Comes back to his hitter and is promptly lined into left field for a base hit. So with the Astros leading 1-0 with 1 out in the first, Herrera flares one to left for a single. Abreu will line drive single number 16, and the batter will be Andre Ethier. Andre Ethier missed a game in Arizona with a scheduled day off. That was his first game missed all year. Hitting .321, 9 home runs and 40 RBIs. Last year with that bad knee, he hit 11 home runs the entire season, so he's way out in front of that. So 2 on, 1 out, 1-0 Astros, noisy first inning. Harrell a check and comes to Ethier and gets it in there for a strike, and the count 0-1. Andre in and out of the box for the moment. Now the tall right-hander out of a stretch. Lucas checks second, back and works off the plate. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. So Lucas Harrell came in here with a record of 3-3. He has had 7 unearned runs charged to him because of errors. High slicing fly ball, but playable. Moving over is Justin Maxwell to make the catch, and the runners have to hold. So Ethier a fly ball to center, 2 out, and Jerry Hairston coming up. Hairston is the only Dodger in the lineup to have ever faced Lucas Harrell, and he is 0 for 2 against him. For Jerry, it's a welcome back after having that muscle pull. He missed 16 games. He went out on the 6th of May. Jerry hitting .315, 1 home run, 4 runs batted in. So 1 out, back-to-back singles by Herrera and Abreu. Ethier a fly ball to center, and here is Hairston. 1-0 Houston, bottom of the first inning. Harrell hides the ball back of his right hip and goes to his stretch. Right hand his first pitch, low with the fastball at 92. 1 ball and no strikes to Jerry Hairston. Harrell will be 27 in June. Checks his runners and the 1-0 pitch, and that's in at the knees for a strike. He's right there, 93, 94 most of the time. And a 1 ball, 1 strike count to Jerry Hairston. Hairston has done particularly well in the later stages of the game from the 7th inning on. He's hitting .409. The 1-1 pitch, Hairston breaks his bat, little ground ball to third, bare hand pick, a perfect throw by Chris Johnson to make a wonderful play on Jerry Hairston. Boy, that was a big league play by the big third baseman. No runs, 2 hits to left at the end of an inning, 1-0 Houston. Clayton Kershaw ready to pitch to Justin Maxwell, Chris Johnson, and Chris Snyder. The Astros a run on 1 hit and 2 Dodger errors, and the pitch to Maxwell is high, ball 1. Maxwell is hitting .211. He has 2 home runs, 8 RBIs. Big boy. He's 6'5", 245. Kershaw's next pitch is low and inside, 2-0 the count. A couple of notes on Maxwell. Even though he is an outfielder, he had Tommy John surgery 2 years ago, and his first major league hit was a pinch hit grand slam home run. He lays off a strike, and the count now 2-1. How about that, a way to break in? A pinch hit grand slam home run. It was against the Marlins. A way to start a career. 2-1 pitch to the right hand batter is swung on and missed, and the count 2-2. For Clayton Kershaw, because of the double, the lead off by Altuve, then the catcher's interference and the throwing error by Herrera, he gave up a run. 2-2 pitch to Maxwell, and he takes low, ball 3. Maxwell was originally selected by the Orioles, but he went to the University of Maryland. The Rangers chose him, and he decided, no, I'm going back to Maryland. At Maryland, his major was animal sciences, that's pre-veterinary. He fouls a pitch away. And he was going to go to Harvard until April of his senior year of high school. The Terrapins offered him the baseball scholarship. And a few years later, he signed with the Washington Nationals in the 4th round. The 3-2 pitch, and the big guy holds up. Strike 3 called on the inside corner, and down he goes. So Kershaw makes $1 million pitch to get it in there, and that's his second strikeout. The batter now will be Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson made a fine play on that little roller by Hairston. Johnson hitting .288 with 5 home runs, 23 runs batted in. Chris takes a strike. He doesn't walk very much at all, a very aggressive hitter. He is number 1 highest rate of strikeouts to walk in the National League. He drives one down the right field line in pursuit of Zephyr. It's going to bounce up into the stands, and it'll be a ground rule double for Chris Johnson. So Johnson finds the corner for a 1-out double to right. The Astros leading 1-0, and the catcher Chris Snyder coming up. Ethier dead run into the corner, but the ball landed inside of a foot fair and then kicked up into the stands. So Johnson at second, 1 out, and the veteran catcher Chris Snyder checking in. Snyder, who was with the Arizona Diamondbacks from 2004 through 2010, takes a change high, ball 1. Then he went to the Pirates, and now he is with the Astros. A marvelous defensive catcher, born and raised in Houston, went to the University of Houston, second-round pick by Arizona. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball in there just above the belt, inside corner. Snyder doesn't say a word. Chris had a 240-game errorless streak. Finally came to an end 2 years ago on D-Day, June the 6th. The streak, the third longest in Major League history, behind Mike Redmond, 253, Mike Matheny, 252. He had 240. 1-1 pitch to Chris is taken low at the right ankle. 2 balls and 1 strike. Snyder is well put together. Another big fella, 6'3" and 230. Drafted by the Mariners, but took the scholarship to the University of Houston. 2-1 the count. 1 out, second inning. The Astros lead 1-0. Out of a real stretch goes Kershaw. Now the 2-1 pitch in nicely for a strike. And the count 2-2. So Clayton Kershaw has allowed 1 run and 2 hits, 2 Dodger errors behind him. Surrenders 2 doubles to Altuve in the first inning. Chris Johnson here in the second. After Johnson comes the pitcher, Lucas Harrell. Kershaw looks back at second, and his 2-2 pitch on the way is swung on and missed. And down goes Snyder. 3 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw, and the batter will be the opposing pitcher, and that would be Lucas Harrell. For Clayton Kershaw, you know, his career high in strikeouts 13, but of late he has really had 6. About 3 times he had 4 going 9 innings against the Cardinals. He's really been pitching. And the fastball in for a strike to Harrell, and the count 0-1. Harrell is listed as a switch hitter, hitting .250 right-handed, 167 left-handed. 0-1 the count. Harrell waits, wiggling the bat, now swings and lifts it foul off to the right and out of play. So Lucas Harrell, kind of a rare switch hitting pitcher. There aren't too many of those, but obviously he can handle a bat. They say he is a very good fielding pitcher. No balls and 2 strikes, they count. Kershaw trying to put him away now. No balls, 2 strikes. 2 out. Chris Johnson at second. 1-0 Houston. Strike 2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball got him looking. Hello. Big slow rainbow curve. So all Kershaw does, strike out the side, gives up a double, strikes out 4 in 2 innings, and at the end of an inning and a half, 1-0 Houston. Out the side, he's made a total of 29 pitches in the 2 innings, and the Dodgers coming up now in the bottom of the second with James Loney, A.J. Ellis, and then D. Gordon. So James Loney ready to lead the Dodgers in the second against the right-hander Lucas Harrell. James average going up, hitting .257. 2 home runs, 15 runs batted in, and James, a Houston boy, ready to check in and go to work. Loney did have a 6-game hitting streak that was recently snapped. He has a look at a strike and the count 0-1. One of the things that James has done, he still has the knack of coming up with base hits with runners in scoring position. He hits a ground ball to the right side. To his right is Altuve to throw him out. And we have 1 down. Loney, with men in scoring position, is hitting .326 this year. So he's been a good man to rely on. And now here's A.J. Ellis, who is a storybook all by himself. Ellis continues to amaze. One of 5 starting catchers in the National League, hitting over 300. Carlos Ruiz, Jonathan LaCroix, Ryan Hannigan, Buster Posey, and A.J. He has reached base by hit or walk 33 of his last 35 games. He takes low and away, ball 1, 1-0 the count. Ellis hitting .327. Harrell works quickly, shoots a fastball in there for a strike, and the count 1-1. Lucas Harrell has changed his grip on the slider. He copies the one now that John Smoltz used. Pretty good pitcher to emulate. He used to just hold the fastball grip right along the seams. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that's low. But boy, Harrell sure works quickly. Now he calms down and takes a little walk on the grass. 3-1 the count. 1 out, second inning. Dodgers had back-to-back singles by Herrera and Abreu, but came up empty. 3-1 fastball in there. He's right there on the fastball, 93-94. 3-2. Waiting on deck, D. Gordon. And the 3-2 fastball fouled away, second level off to the right of the plate. So A.J. Ellis, one of the feel-good stories, 3rd in the major leagues with his on-base percentage, 9th in the league, hitting .327. Right-hand hitting catcher waiting. And the 3-2 pitch to A.J. is high. He's done it again. Ball 4. Amazing. He has walked 25 times.
Shortstop number 9, D. Gordon.
And the batter now will be D. Gordon. So Gordon checking with Tim Wallach with 1 out to see if there might be some kind of a play on. D hitting .209. Perked up a little bit in the series with Arizona, going 3 for 8. Gordon, of course, a threat to steal anytime he gets aboard. But now he has a runner ahead of him in Ellis. And on deck, Clayton Kershaw. Gordon takes the first pitch high. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. Gordon listed at 5'11", so he towers over Jose Altuve, the little second baseman. The 1-0 pitch on the way, taken for a strike, and the count 1-1. Again, Gordon taking a look at Wallach to see if there might be a play on. Carlos Lee holding a corner on Ellis, who has a very short lead. Out of a stretch goes Harrell. Now comes to Gordon, and the pitch is high. Though the count runs 2 balls and 1 strike. Now that's the manager's count. If you're going to put a play on, this is perfect. So we'll see if they run Ellis. Gordon, by the way, has grounded into just 2 double plays. So Ellis with his short lead. Harrell takes his stretch. Ellis not going. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit. Ellis will stop at second as Maxwell gets it back in. So D. Gordon grounds 1 up the middle. Ellis just going to second base. And with 1 out and Clayton Kershaw coming up, we'll see if the bunt is in order. We'll watch Chris Johnson. He's in on the grass. Carlos Lee is on the edge of the grass. You know, the last time that Kershaw pitched on the 19th against the Cardinals, you may remember he doubled off Matt Holliday's glove. That was the first career extra base hit for Kershaw in 219 at-bats. So let's see if he tries to get a bunt down. He has 3 hits, batting .176. He shows bunt, pulls the bat back, and the pitch inside. 1 ball and no strikes to Clayton. Don Mattingly passing on whatever the sign might be. For the Astros, they have undermined some of Harrell's work. They've committed at least 1 error in each of his last 6 starts. Here's the 1-0 pitch. The bunt in the air on third and goes foul. And a 1 ball, 1 strike count. For Lucas Harrell, who has had 7 unearned runs against him, his big problem really is newcomer Jed Lowry. Jed Lowry has 4 errors, and each of them while Harrell is pitching. When all the other Astros start, he doesn't have an error. So 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Clayton Kershaw, with the Astros leading 1-0. Dodgers now had 2 men on in the first, and they have 2 men on here in the second with 1 out. 1 ball and 1 strike. They're still looking bunt, and the bunt is down. The play by Harrell to third, they get 1. So Kershaw bunts into a force play. A.J. Ellis is out easily 1-5. Down to second base goes Gordon. Safely aboard at first is Clayton Kershaw. And the batter will be Tony Gwynn. So Kershaw got the bunt down, but not good enough. Kershaw was pretty handy. He has 4 sacrifices. Now here's Gwynn with a little 7-game hitting streak, with Kershaw standing at first, D. Gordon at second, and 2 out. Gordon tying the laces on his shoe before taking his lead, and Gwynn checks in. Tony waiting. Harrell out of a stretch. A look at the runners and delivers, and it's fouled away off third, down the line, well back into the stand. A reminder, same 2 ball clubs tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon. Tomorrow night, a 7:10 game, remember. and that will be Bud Norris and Chad Billingsley, who's talking right now to Chris Capuano. Sunday, J.A. Happ will go up against Capuano. So the two of them right now exchanging ideas as to what they'll do against the Astros. No balls, one strike. Fastball foul back. That's another 93. 0-2 the count to Tony Gwynn, who has had a few 0-2 counts that have produced base hits. I think the last time we checked, he had 4 0-2 counts, and he was 2 for 4. Big one, of course, against Tim Lincecum, remember, with the bases loaded. So Tony in and out of the box. Gordon at second, Kershaw at first, 2 out, 1-0 Astros in the second. Lucas Harrell has certainly slowed down now. Time call for the moment as Gwynn backs out. Now Tony checks back in. Wallach with his back to the hitter, watching D. Gordon, and behind Gordon is Jed Lowry. Harrell set, looks back at second, and the strike 2 pitch swung on. Ground ball to the right side. Altuve feeds his shortstop Lowry, and that's it. No runs, a hit, a walk. The Dodgers leave 2, so they've left 4. And at the end of an inning and a half, 1-0 Astros.
Forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Third inning, Astros lead 1-0. Jose Altuve will start it off. Altuve listed at 5'6". Remember Freddie Patek? He was 5'5". The Angels had Albie Pearson. He was 5'5". If you're an old-timer, you might remember Phil Rizzuto of the Yankees, 5'6". Altuve takes low. Ozzie Smith stood 5'10", and Maury Wills around 5'11". Altuve has 9 infield hits, and the 1-0 pitch on the way is fouled off to the right out of play. Altuve, a heck of a hitter, batting .313. He's from Maracay in Venezuela. That's Bobby Abreu company. He gets called strikes a lot. He doesn't swing and miss much, only 5%. The 1-1 pitch is taken low, ball 2, 2-1. However, he does get fooled. He's the #1 guy in called third strike. Over 60% of his strikeouts he's called out. So 2-1 the count. The pitch to Jose is a fastball pulled, a one-hopper to third. With it is Hairston to throw him out. So Altuve, who doubled in the first inning, hits a hard one-hopper to Hairston, and we have one away.
Shortstop number 4, Jed Lowry.
The shortstop, Jed Lowry, coming up. Now, Lowry, in direct contrast to Altuve, does not get called out on strikes very often. Most of the time he hits the ball in the air, and in the first inning he struck out. Jed's from Salem, Oregon, went to Stanford, and was the #1 pick by the Red Sox 7 years ago. The 1-0 pitch, a check swing for a strike, and the count 1-1 strike. Lowry was kind of an afterthought in a Stanford recruiting class that included John Mayberry. A lot of colleges wanted Jed. He takes a little low ball too. He had gotten offers from Georgetown, several Ivy League schools, Oregon State, Baylor. He went to Stanford and then signed with the Red Sox for a pretty good bonus. 2-1 pitch is swung on. High fly ball into deep left center. Go into the track. It's going to be high off the top of the wall and into second base, sliding with a double, goes Lowry. So Jed, who was hitting very well, hitting .277, and drives one off the wall on the fly, got a fastball out over the plate. For Lowry, his 8th double. And immediately with an out, the Astros have a runner at second base, and J.D. Martinez coming up. So the Dodgers have given up 3 hits, all doubles. Altuve in the first inning, Johnson in the second inning, and now Lowry here in the third. And J.D. Martinez hitting .235, taking a strike, 0-1. 1-0 Astros, but they're looking for more. J.D. playing left field. Justin Maxwell is in center. Jordan Schaefer is down. Pitches low and inside, 1-1. Jordan Schaefer, the regular center fielder, fouled a ball off his foot. The nail and the pain, he had to go to the doctor, and I believe they took the nail off, or at least a portion thereof. He couldn't put a shoe on, so I'm not quite sure when he's ready to play. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball, check swing. They look at first, no swing, says Laz Diaz, and it's a 2-1 strike count to Julio Daniel Martinez from Hollywood, Florida. He's been very proficient in getting runners home from third. Dave Clark is watching his runner Lowry very carefully. The 2-1 pitch swung on, and that's hammered to left. Back goes Abreu to the wall. It's gone in the pavilion, and the Astros lead 3-0. And for the Astros, that is only the 8th home run that they have hit on the road this year. So on a 2-1 pitch, Martinez drives one into the pavilion, and the Dodgers down 3-0. For Martinez, his 4th home run of the year. Good carry over the sign, back in amongst the fans, and the batter Carlos Lee, and takes a strike. So some celebration down in the Astro dugout as they lead the Dodgers 3-0. Lee hitting .304, and the next pitch to him, slow curveball in the dirt. 1-1 strike. Carlos Lee, a remarkable player, and I guess he got everybody's attention because his first home run was his first major league at bat. He was with the White Sox against Oakland, 1999. The 1-1 pitch to Carlos is taken low, ball 2-1. He rarely strikes out. The old expression, he strikes out as rarely as you would give up a tattoo. And the 2-1 pitch, and Lee fouls it at the plate, and the count 2-2. His strikeout rate is 5%. And when you look at his years so far, he has struck out only 9 times. Kershaw trying to put him away, 2-2 pitch swung on, and another high fly ball. Abreu to the track at the wall, reaches up, makes the catch right in front of the window in the Dodger bullpen. So what an inning. Altuve hit a hard one-hopper for an out. Lowry doubles high off the center field wall. Martinez homers into the left field pavilion, and Lee pins Abreu right up against the window in left field, 360 feet away. So a rocky inning and a nice play by Bobby Abreu. That will bring up Matt Downs, and he takes low, ball one. For those who are very interested in things like that, Clayton Kershaw has allowed 6 home runs, almost a 7th. 1 ball and no strikes the count to Matt Downs. So for a club that came in here with only 7 home runs on the road, they've hit a couple of dandies. Little ground ball foul, 1-1 the count to Matt Downs. So J.D. Martinez drives one, then Lee follows with a long out, and Matt Downs waiting at the plate. Chris Snyder talking to Carlos Lee. Matt, the hitter, is from Birmingham, Alabama, and he takes inside. If you want a pinch hit, Matt's not a bad guy to call on. He has 8 pinch hits, half a dozen runs batted in. This is his favorite count with 1 strike. And he probably grounds it to third. Nice pick there by Hairston to get him. And the inning mercifully is over as a long home run by Martinez, a double by Lowry, and a long out by Lee. And it's 3-0 Houston. Burst in the first inning. He ended the game with 22 scoreless innings, and now the bubble is burst when J.D. Martinez took him downtown, and the Astros lead 3-0, bottom of the third, and Elian Herrera takes a strike, 0-1. By the way, in case you missed it, the L.A. Kings will be playing the New Jersey Devils. They went with the Rangers overtime, and the Devils won it 3-2. Strike 1 pitch is high. That means game 1 would be Wednesday in New Jersey, Wednesday night. Elian Herrera, single to left field. He has hit safely in 7 in a row. Switch hitter, batting left-handed. Swings a chopper wide of first to Lee. He'll do it himself, saving Harold a trip. And we have 1 away in the 3rd inning. Bobby Abreu will be coming up. Abreu single to left in the 1st inning. Andre Ethier with 2 on and 1 out hit a long fly ball to center. And then Hairston hit a dribbler up along third, and Chris Johnson made a fine play. But the Astros, that came here with only 7 home runs hit on the road, are riding the wings of a 2-run home run by J.D. Martinez, and they lead 3-0. For Bobby Abreu, his first career home run came with the Astros in 1997, and would you believe it? It came against current Dodger right-hander Jamie Wright, who was then with Colorado. Bobby shows bunt, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. So sooner or later, if you hang around in this business long enough, your paths will cross with an awful lot of people. 1-1 pitch to Abreu is taken outside and high. Ball 2, 2-1. Lucas Harrell working on Abreu with 1 out in the 3rd inning. Harrell, in 5 of his last 6 starts, has pitched at least 5 innings, but he's always pitched less than 6. In other words, 5 1/3, 5 2/3, but he can't get over the hump. He's inside now to Abreu, 3-1. So Lucas out of Ozark High School in Missouri. Andre Ethier on deck. 3-1 pitch to Abreu is way off the plate. So for the Dodgers now, they have a bunch of base runners, but nothing to show for it. A reminder, be sure to head to Dodger Stadium Tuesday at 7:10 for the infield. Garvey, Lopes, Russell, and Say bobblehead night, presented by State Farm. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. Well, here's Andre, a long fly ball to center, 0 for 1. Returning to the Wars after a rare day off. And boy, has he held up his end of the bargain and then something, hitting .382 in the absence of Matt Kemp. 1 ball and no strikes to Andre Ethier. Abreu at first, 1 away. Astros lead 3-0. Andre leading the National League with 40 RBIs, hitting .312 against right-hand pitching, and of course the big surprise compared to last year, he's hitting .333 against left-hand pitching. Abreu held on by Carlos Lee, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. Ethier hits a fly ball to left, almost down the line. Coming over to pick it off is Martinez, and back to first base goes Abreu. So Ethier, a fly ball to left, 2 down, and Jerry Hairston coming up. Hairston topped the ball with 2 on and 2 out in the 1st inning. Chris Johnson charging in, bare hand, off balance throw, and got him. So Hairston returning to the Wars after having the hamstring and playing 3rd base. He's already played 2nd and left field this year. He plays all over the field, 7 different positions in his career. So Harrell out of his stretch. Jerry waits at the plate, shies away from an up and in fastball at 93. 1 ball and no strikes. Played a couple of games at Albuquerque, and he's been dropped back in the fire tonight. This would be his 15th start of the year. Breeze blowing out to left. There goes the runner, and there's a flare right to the shortstop Lowry, and that's the inning. So it sounded like a cracked bat. Hairston pops out to Lowry, and at the end of 3, Astros 3, Dodgers nothing. Astros. Clayton Kershaw has been rudely treated by the visitors. He's given up doubles to Altuve, Lowry, and Johnson, and a home run to J.D. Martinez. And it'll be Justin Maxwell to lead it off. Ball one, 1-0. Maxwell struck out in the second inning. We mentioned it earlier. The reason Maxwell is playing and playing center, Jordan Schaefer out, had a toenail removed on his right foot and still in somewhat pain, can't wear a shoe. Check swing foul, 2-1 to Justin Maxwell. Boy, what a marvelous thing. We told you about it a little while ago. A pinch hit, go ahead grand slam, his first major league hit. Beat the Marlins. In talking about the Marlins, they beat the Giants. Giants led at one time early, 2-0. Final score, Marlins 7, Giants 6. In the dirt. Tim Lincecum had a 3-1 lead, and Miami then scored 5 runs in the 6th inning. Lincecum has to be a big worry up there in San Fran. He's now 2-5, and his earned run average is over 6. 3-2. Fast one missed. In talking about fast one, that seems to be the problem from what we hear about Lincecum, that his velocity has dropped by several miles per hour. So Maxwell is aboard. Chris Johnson doubled down the right field line in the second inning. The Chris hitting .292, 1 for 1. Ground ball down to Herrera. The feed to Gordon in the dirt, picked nicely by Loney for the double play. So a low throw by Gordon, but it was saved by James Loney. 4-6-3. There's the feed, and then the throw in the dirt. Graceful pick by Loney. James can dig him. So now Chris Snyder, the catcher, who struck out in the second inning, coming up. Astros lead 3-0. We're in the 4th inning. Ball one, 1-0. Snyder with the pitcher, Lucas Harrell on deck. 2-0. Chris Snyder in there for his glove. He's hitting just .175. 2 balls, no strikes. And ball 3. And a strike. 3-1. The Astros come in here with a little 3-game winning streak. 2 games under 500. Snyder, a high fly ball to left center, and deep on the track is Abreu, and here comes Gwynn. And Gwynn, as the captain, makes the catch. Abreu thought he had it all the way. So a long out, and that's what Kershaw has been doing. Some long balls hit here tonight. As Gwynn comes over, and Abreu worrying about a collision, and Tony makes the catch. It's still 3-0 Astros. wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit AT&T.com/free your TV. Rethink possible. By El Pollo Loco, crazy you can taste. And by Mercury Insurance. Buy a policy and get a free Dodger jersey from your local agent. Bottom of the fourth inning, the Astros leading the Dodgers 3-0. They had a 2-run home run by J.D. Martinez in the third inning, and they had a run in the first inning on 2 Dodger errors. Tony Gwynn and Bobby Abreu coming together, and fortunately not a bump exactly, a glancing pirouette by Gwynn to make the catch at the same time. Fine play by Tony. So in the fourth, Loney, Ellis, and Gordon against Lucas Harrell. Loney grounded out to second in the second inning. A couple of other notes about Lucas Harrell, and that's fouled away. He is hit hard early in the count. In fact, you see Loney going after the first pitch. The first pitch batting average against him this year is over 500. His earned run average on the road is more than 5.5. He misses to even it up. 1 ball, 1 strike. For Harrell to be successful, he must stay ahead of the hitter. 1-1. So now he's in trouble. 2 balls and 1 strike. When the hitter's ahead of him, they're batting .404 against him. Lucas Harrell, 27, out of Springfield, Missouri. That's a strike. 2-2 the count. Loney batting .255, 2 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Ground ball to Carlos Lee. He let it come to him and then makes the easy play. 1 away in the fourth inning. And A.J. Ellis, who walked in the second inning, coming up, only to be forced at third when Kershaw tried to get a bunt down. Dodgers off to a great start, 30-14. The 77 club was 33-11 and won the West. They lost in the World Series. The 74 club was 31-13. They won the West and lost in the World Series. 1 ball and no strikes to A.J. Ellis. The 81 club was 31-13, second in the West, and won the series. Ground ball to short, waiting for Lowry, and makes the play. 2 down here in the fourth inning. The last Dodger club to be 30-14 after the 83 club, which won the West and lost in the LCS, was 2009. They had the same record, 30-14, won the West, lost in the LCS. So for the Dodgers, they've won the West 4 out of 5 times with this kind of a record, but they've only gone all the way to win 1 World Series. They lost 2 and have been knocked out of the LCS. The best start, the Dodgers back in Brooklyn, 1955. That was the year where they had a breakaway pace. They began that year by winning 10 straight, lost 1, and came right back and won another 10. 1-1. D. Gordon singled up the middle in the second inning. Lucas Harrell into the fourth with 2 out. We've told you 5 of his last 6 starts, he's gotten to the 5, and then something happens. In there, 2-2. Waiting on deck, deep in thought, Clayton Kershaw. Ground ball to short. Lowry on the run, gets him, and that's that. Nice inning for Lucas Harrell. 1, 2, 3. He's retired 5 in a row, and the Astros lead 3-0.
April 30th, 1992.
Riots in the streets of Los Angeles bring the Dodgers season to a halt.
Bedlam broke out everywhere. We were playing the Philadelphia Phillies at that time. They didn't even get dressed after the game. They stayed in their uniforms, got on a bus, and they all pulled their bats out. So every guy on the bus had a baseball bat.
Dodger Stadium would go dark as the team canceled the next 5 games, waiting for order to be restored. And we move along now to the 5th inning. It'll be Lucas Harrell, Jose Altuve, and Jed Lowry against Clayton Kershaw. Lucas Harrell struck out in the 2nd inning. Switch hitting pitcher. 0 for 1. Harrell, a good athlete, they say, played basketball in high school. And ball 1. Kershaw started the game getting that first pitch strike, but of late, not quite. That's in there. He has walked 1. Clayton was a little bit unlucky. He gave up a double in the 1st inning. And with 1 out, there was catcher's interference. An error charged to Ellis. Then the 4th play with Elian Herrera trying to complete the double play, throwing it away, and the run scored. And then in the 3rd, boom, home run by Martinez with a man aboard. Well, a breaking ball takes care of Harrell. He strikes out a 2nd time. 1 away. You know, the 10-game flex plan allows you to pick and choose the games you want to see during the remaining Dodger home schedule. You can choose from bobblehead night, rivalry matchups, or your preferred day of the week with tickets starting at $8. So visit Dodgers.com/mini-plans or give us a call, 323-224-1365. Ball 1 to Altuve. Watch charm second baseman, doubled, grounded out. One and 0. And ground ball off the glove of the diving Hairston and by D. Gordon. And going into second base easily with the slide is Altuve. Now that looked like a bowling alley on the left side. The 2 pins were named Hairston and Gordon, one going one way and the other going the other. There goes Hairston, and there goes Gordon. So it'll be a double, his 2nd in the game for Altuve. And with 1 out, the batter will be Jed Lowry. Jed Lowry struck out in the 1st inning, and then he doubled in the 3rd. Jed hitting .282, 7 home runs, 18 runs batted in. His career batting average coming into this year, .252. Those who watch Lowry every day say he'll remind you a little bit of Jeff Blauser from years ago and David Eckstein. That's ball 1. Maybe a less vocal version of Dustin Pedroia. Jed Lowry. That name Lowry, he is Swedish. 1 ball and no strikes. And ball 2. Kershaw now falling behind. Lowry's an even 6, 185. Clayton now pitching 2 balls and no strikes. Altuve at 2nd, 1 out. 3-0 Astros, 5th inning. And the breaking ball misses. Ball 3. Waiting on deck J.D. Martinez, who hit that big home run in the third inning. 3-0. Very high. So Kershaw walks his second man. The Astros have runners at first and second with one out. Martinez was awarded first base when A.J. Ellis tipped his bat while swinging. The bat hit the back of Ellis' mitt. He was charged with the error. And then in the third inning, Martinez hit one out. 4 home runs, 27 runs batted in, hitting .241. At his feet with the breaking ball. 1 ball and no strikes. That's that big slow curve. Came up there at 75. So Ellis trying to talk his way through a tough spot. 1 ball and no strikes. Altuve at second. Lowry at first. The Astros trying to win their 4th in a row. Martinez has a reputation of being one of the better curveball hitters around. 1 ball, no strikes. Fastball hit foul down the right field line. That came up at 94. Kershaw started off in brilliant style. Had 1 strikeout in the first inning and then struck out the side in the second. But then he had to wait until he got Lucas Harrell here in the 5th. So he struck out 5. Down 3-0. 1-1 to Martinez. Cracked bat, ground foul, and he'll have to get another stick. There's the evidence, Your Honor. Martinez, Julio Daniel, 6'3", 195. Pretty good eye for walking, and very good. 10 times this year he's picked up the runner from third. In the third inning, he picked up the runner from second. For Kershaw, he's allowed 3 runs, but what makes it so interesting, 5 hits, and they're all extra bases. 4 doubles and a home run. 2 on, 1 out. There's the curveball, and he couldn't connect. So Kershaw with a 77-mile-an-hour deuce. Martinez strikes out. Number 6 for Clayton.
Coming to the plate, first baseman,
and the batter will be Carlos Lee. Carlos Lee, a very interesting guy for a lot of reasons. He's from Agua Dulce in Panama, lives in Panama City. But he has a ranch in Panama, 6,000 head of cattle. And he works that ranch hard all during the offseason. That's a strike. You remember Rich Donnelly? He coached for the Dodgers for a while. He was a very funny guy, coached for many teams in the big leagues. And he used to call Carlos Lee 7-Eleven. You say, why'd you call him 7-Eleven? He said, because his mouth is open 24 hours a day. 0-1 the count to Carlos Lee. And talking about Lee being interesting, he's a big man with Brahma bulls. 1 ball and 1 strike. He's one of the top Brahman breeders in all of South America. And one of his favorite award-winning bulls, he named Brad Ausmus, the former catcher with Houston and with the Dodgers, who's going to manage the Israeli team in the postseason. 1-1. The breaking ball in there for a strike. 1-2 to Carlos. Again, remember, with all of his power, he strikes out 5% of the time. So every time you get 2 strikes on him, you really want to pay attention. He flied deep to left in the third inning with 2 strikes. Fastball tapped, and Herrera is on it. That'll be that. So no runs, a walk, a squib double, and at the end of 4.5, 3-0 Astros. In favor of the Astros, Clayton Kershaw will start it off. Ball 1. Kershaw tried to bunt and advance runners and bunted into a force play in the second inning. That's a strike, 1-1 to count. Astros scored a run in the first inning. 2 Dodger errors helped, and then they picked up 2 more in the third on a 2-run home run by Martinez. That's a ground ball to Altuve. 1 away. Take a look at just where people are at this stage. As you know, the Dodgers up to a great start. 7 in front of the Giants, and the Giants lost already. Arizona 10.5, Colorado 13, San Diego 14.5. Dodgers have won 7 of 10. They've beaten the Astros 4 straight here, and they've won 6 of the last 7 from the Astros. 1 away, and Tony Gwynn, the batter. Tony Gwynn grounded out, hit into a force play, made a rather awkward catch, just avoiding a collision with Bobby Abreu back in the 4th inning. Repeat a note that we gave you earlier, the fact that Matt Kemp and Juan Rivera are scheduled to play 2 games at the end of the month in Albuquerque, and then Dodgers hope they'll be ready to go. And that's going to be slapped into the gap, and a diving backhand catch by Justin Maxwell. Oh, what a wonderful play by Justin Maxwell to take an extra base hit away from Tony Gwynn. Take another look. Well, Gwynn, you know, made a spectacular catch about a week ago. So the league returns the favor. Maxwell reaches, and he's 6'5", so you're looking at a lot of diving player, and a cheerleading sign from Lucas Harrell. 2 out. The batter is Herrera. Of the 3 positions in the outfield, center field is basically the easiest position. It is the most difficult as far as covering ground. But if you're a left fielder, for instance, and a right-hand batter is up, there is a split second where you don't see the ball. If you're a right fielder and a left-hand hitter is up, there's that split second where you don't see the ball. But if you are the center fielder, you are looking straight in at the hitter, and you shouldn't lose the ball. And Maxwell sure didn't. Hopper to short, juggled, but Lowry makes the play, and a very quick 5th inning, thanks to Justin Maxwell. And at the end of 5, 3-0 Astros. The Dodgers beat the Reds 17-6. I mean, they really beat them. They hit 7 home runs in the game. But the messy part, the Dodger who hit the 7th home run was Davey Lopes. And the Reds were furious. And the next time Davey Lopes came up, he had hit the home run on a 3-0 count. Dave Homlin threw the ball at him 4 times, trying to hit him in the head, and a brawl lasted for a good 15 minutes. Quite a night. Let's go back to this one. 0-1 the count as Matt Downs starts it all. Downs hit into a force play, grounded to third, 0 for 2. Matt struggling, hitting 161. Off speed, and that missed. 1-1. Amazing the pattern of Kershaw. He got the first pitch over for a strike to the first 5 batters. But since then, he's had a lot of trouble. Ground ball to Gordon. Perfect throw. 1 away. Let's take another look at Justin Maxwell and that amazing catch. Boy, it was a beauty. Taking an extra base hit away from Tony Gwynn. The big Maxwell flying through the air. That had to make any pitcher happy. Maxwell 6'5", 245. More like an acrobat on that catch. Out of Bethesda, Maryland. He was claimed off waivers by the Astros. He had been briefly with the Yankees. Two and 0. Good fastball at 93 and fastball down. Fouled away. Clayton Kershaw, who came into the game with a record of the last 19 starts here, he was 14-1, and he had 22 scoreless innings, and that stopped immediately in the first inning. They're going to check, no swing. 3-2 the count. Waiting on deck, third baseman Chris Johnson. You don't expect the Astros to score a lot of runs. High fly ball, but playable. Tony Gwynn is there. So 2 out here in the 6th inning. And the batter will be Chris Johnson. Time to get you thinking. Yep, trivia question. Last year, Clayton Kershaw became the Dodgers' 3rd youngest 20-game winner since 1900. Who were the 2 youngest? Well, here's Johnson, doubled and hit into a double play. Curveball misses. Chris doubled into the right field corner. Chris out of Naples, Florida. That's a strike. He does not walk very often. Very aggressive. His ratio of strikeouts to walks, therefore, extremely high. And he's in a hole now, 1-2. So Kershaw, who has 6 strikeouts, Clayton's high this year, 9, but that was back against Houston, in Houston in April. 2-2. Two and two to Chris Johnson. Ground ball to D. Gordon. Boy, his throws, when he has the chance to just set and throw, right on the money. So down go the Astros, 1-2-3, but they still lead 3-0. Kershaw with a half a dozen strikeouts, and for Lucas Harrell, none at all. However, Kershaw gave up a 2-run home run plus another run. Meanwhile, Harrell's not allowed any. One thought about Harrell, if you were with us at the start of the game, you might remember we said he gets a lot of ground balls. He averages almost 2.5 ground balls to a fly ball. Well, in 5 innings, that's 15 outs. He's had 11 ground balls. Now let's see about Abreu. Ball 1. The other note we gave you about Harrell, and there's that little smile that Abreu always seems to bring up to the plate. The other thing is, in 5 of his last 6 starts, he's pitched 5, but not 6. Foul on the bunt. You go maybe 5 1/3, 5 2/3, but not 6. If you look at his work, you go all the way back to his first game, April the 7th against Colorado, and he did go 7. One ball and one strike to Bobby Abreu. Breeze blowing to left field. That's a strike. 1-2. The prevailing breeze left to right here. And yeah, it's a lot on the cool side. It was 59 when the game started. 2-2. Believe it's supposed to warm up some for tomorrow. Get a little warmer on Sunday. Tomorrow night, 7:10, Bud Norris and Chad Billingsley. Ball 3. Bud Norris, the ace of the staff, he's 5-1. And Chad Billingsley will be going up against him. Chad on the right talking to Ted Lilly. Billingsley 2-3. 3-2. Ball 4. So does this mean Harrell's going to have more 6th inning trouble? We'll see. It is the 3rd walk that he has given up. Andre Ethier, low ball hitter, sinker ball pitcher. A sinker ball pitcher who does not overpower. Case in point, he does not have a strikeout tonight. So the Dodgers like the matchup. I'm not sure about the way that Brad Mills feels. Doug Brocail was on the phone, so in a minute there'll be somebody throwing in the Astro bullpen. And a strike. 0-1. Ethier fly deep to center and fly to left. Oh and 1. There goes the runner, and there's the ball to left field. But moving over to pick it off is Martinez, and back to first goes Abreu. So twice now Ethier goes the other way, but of course that at bat they were playing hit and run. Down in the bullpen, a left-hander, Wesley Wright, begins to warm up in the Astro pen. So a frustrated Ethier 0 for 3 against a guy with 11 ground balls. He's hit 3 balls in the air. Jerry Hairston grounded to third, popped to short, 0 for 2, batting .304. Off the plate, ball 1. Lucas Harrell, 6'2", 200. He'll be 27. Springfield, Missouri. Good sinking fastball at 93. 1-1 the count. Lucas with the White Sox in 2010 and 11, and then came over to the Astros. One one. And that fastball is whacked into the gap in right center. Up with it there is Downs, and holding at second is Abreu. Matt Downs cutting that ball off. So the Dodgers now first and second, 1 out, and James Loney coming up. And once again, anxious moments for Lucas Harrell and for the Astros. Trouble in the 6th inning, and big Doug Brocail going out to talk to him. He's had trouble getting out of the 6th inning. His last 4 games, 5 1/3, 5 1/3, 5 2/3, 5 2/3. He's had 1 game he went through 6. Wesley Wright throwing in the pen. And with 2 on and 1 out, here's a sinker baller facing a left-hand hitter. And Loney, like all lefties, pretty much likes the ball down. 3-0 Houston, 1 out. Dodgers at first and second. Strike. 0-1. And he's still throwing 93. Fastball fouled, and so Loney is in a hole now, 0-2. However, Harold does not have a strikeout. He came into the game where he had walked 21 and struck out 28. So he's walked 3 tonight. So his numbers now 24 walks, 28 strikeouts. 0-2. Ground ball to second. There's the feed. There's the turn in the dirt. Backhanded by Carlos Lee. And so Loney hits into the double play. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. Harrell has made it through 6, and the Astros lead 3-0. Move to the 7th inning. The extra base hits, there have been 5 of them by the Astros, and those 5 allowed by Kershaw would tie his career high. The only other time he gave up 5 extra base hits was 2 years ago in Washington in a game that took 13 innings. Dodgers won it 4-3. So here's Chris Snyder. Ball 1. Chris, the veteran catcher, excellent defensive catcher, never been much of a hitter. One and one to count. Chris Snyder had a pretty good year with the Pirates last year, but he only played 34 games. He had 271. The year before, 169. When he was with the Diamondbacks, he had 1 year, 61 games, and he hit better than 270. As far as power is concerned, 4 years ago with the D-backs, he had 16 home runs. 2 years he had 10. Last year with the Pirates he had 3. And he draws a walk. We have time as Snyder goes to first. Remember the question last year, Kershaw, the 3rd Dodgers youngest 20-game winner since 1900. Ralph Branca way back in 1947 was 21. Ramon Martinez in 1990, 22. Ralph Branca, of course, always carried the cross throughout his life, and he is still very much alive, for giving up the home run to Bobby Thompson in 1951. Ralph is 86 years old now. Ralph signed his first pro contract with Brooklyn on D-Day, June 6, 1944, and then made his debut 6 days later. He was 18. 1 ball and no strikes. The bunt is down, the bunt is fair, the bunt is picked up fair, the out recorded, and Snyder safely aboard second. So after striking out twice, Harold does get the bunt down. And now Altuve will be coming up.
Second baseman, number 27, Jose Altuve.
Take another look. It's fair. It looks like it's going to go foul, but Loney decides, I've waited long enough, I'm going to make the play. We'll see just how important that was. And here is Altuve with 2 doubles. Ronald Belisario begins to throw in the Dodger bullpen. Altuve, waiting at the plate, stopped growing in his early teens in Venezuela. He always goes home and plays in the Venezuelan League during the winter. And his teammates, among others, usually included Juan Rivera and Alberto Callaspe of the Angels. One ball and 1 strike. So Clayton Kershaw has now made 104 pitches. He's still throwing 93, but he's also due to bat third when the Dodgers hit in the 7th inning, so he is certainly on thin ice. Boy, quick bat speed. He might be 5'6", but he's a lot bigger ball player, hitting .315. 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. He once hit 11 home runs. That was down in the Sally League, South Atlantic League. 2-2. How tough is it to pitch to him? He's only walked 13 times. So Kershaw at 106 pitches now. Most pitches his last game, 117 against the Cardinals. 2-2. Curveball hit to the hole. Gordon goes to third base. Good heads up play. And Snyder is out. The good ball player always thinks ahead. You're standing out there at shortstop and you're saying, what will I do if the ball is hit to my left? What do I do if I just, and then in his mind, what do I do if the ball is hit to my right? And I probably don't have a play at first. I know. And sure enough, it happened. Well prepared, and Snyder is nailed. Very good play by D. Gordon. Altuve at first, 2 out. By the way, Altuve also has stolen 9 out of 10. So immediately they go after him. Jed Lowry on deck, and now the hitter has struck out, doubled, and walked. Hitting behind him, J. Martinez. Lowry, a first-round pick by the Red Sox, came up with them in 08 and then last year. 0-1. Lowry and Clayton Kershaw have something in common. I'm not sure if they know this or not. When Clayton and Ellen were married, they went to Africa on their honeymoon. When Jed Lowry and Melissa was married, they honeymooned in Africa. And Lowry is really a camera bug. He said while they were over there, he took over 7,000 pictures, which would win the John Suhu Award for pictures taken under pressure. 7,000. What was it like living in a tent for Lowry and his bride? A little scary. What they did, he had a knife, and they gave him an air horn, just in case a lion might, walk into the. You got that air horn. Shoo, lion. He did say the only thing that came nosing around was a hyena. 0-1 to Jed Lowry. Fastball in there. 0-2. So the two young ball players who honeymoon with their brides in Africa, head to head. Jed Lowry, as an elective, took photography. He majored in political science at Stanford University. 0-2. One and two. Lowry is a switch hitter, and it really came about by accident. Right near his home in Salem, Oregon, there was a batting cage, and he'd go there with his father. And one day his dad said, "Did you ever think about hitting left-handed?" Well, he said, "No, I never did. Tried it. There was something there. Wasn't very good. But eventually, he's become a pretty good switch hitter." His numbers, 258 right, that's his natural side. Wouldn't you know, 284 left. Curveball hit in the air and deep. On the track is Gwynn to the wall to make the catch. One thing about this game tonight, it's been hard for Clayton Kershaw to keep them in the park. And he walks off trailing 3-0. been singles night and nothing else. Just a few singles by Herrera, Abreu, Hairston, and Gordon. Evidently a fine pitch 6 innings by Lucas Harrell. And we talked about the fact he has not survived that 5-inning junction when he tries to get to 6. His longest stint this year, he went 7. That was way back his very first game in Colorado. So let's see what he does in the 7th inning now. And A.J. Ellis, a strike. A.J., remarkable on base percentage. Look at the two guys in front of him, David Wright and Paul Konerko. Right. For Clayton Kershaw, by the way, he made 16 pitches, and that gives him 110. And from the looks of things, he'll be coming out. Comebacker, and Harrell stays with it, and that takes care of Ellis. 1 away. Brian Bogusevic is now in right field. Matt Downs has come out. Downs was 0 for 3, did not hit a ball out of the infield. Adam Kennedy is out on deck, and he'll be hitting for Kershaw. Lucas Harrell out of Springfield, Missouri, is out pitching Clayton Kershaw, and he is doing it a very different way. That's a strike. Not only does Harrell not have a strikeout, he doesn't have a single swing and miss. And he's got a 4-hit shutout through 6 innings. 0-1. Little ground ball. 2 down. Well, that line we gave you at the very start of the evening, you're going to see an awful lot of ground balls. Well, we have had 20 outs, 15 of them ground balls.
Your attention, please.
So he had some pretty good information about Lucas Harrell, who has made 88 pitches. Adam Kennedy batting for Clayton Kershaw. So the Astros come in, known for a little offense. It was really David and Goliath in some ways. Certainly Kershaw, the Goliath, 14-1 here. Whoops, there's 3 assists for the pitcher, Lucas Harrell. Now he sailed through 7 with a big smile on his face. And at the end of 7, it's 3-0 Astros. And a 2-run home run by J.D. Martinez, and he got all of it. Hit it over the scoreboard and above the sign in the pavilion. And the big left fielder, that made it 3-0. And Lucas Harrell has just kept it that way. So now Ronald Belisario will take over, facing Martinez, Lee, and Bogusevic.
Leading off the top of the 8th for the Astros.
Belisario, 7 2/3 scoreless innings, throwing awfully hard, striking out 8. And J.D. Martinez, who has made a huge difference in the game, checking in. Drafted 3 years ago out of Southeastern University. Strike. Hitting .239, 4 home runs, 27 runs batted in. It's a big secret, and no one really knows what it will look like. But this is the last year the Astros will be using the uniforms that they are using now. As you probably know, if you've been following things about baseball, the Astros will go into the American League next year. And going into the American League, they will also have brand new uniforms. How is the city reacting to that? I was asking 2 of the Astro broadcasters, and they said the younger fan, the really young fan, doesn't care much. It's okay. Let's go play the American League. But the older Astro fan is not happy about it at all. Big chopper to the hole. Tough play. Deke doesn't have the play and wisely holds on to the ball. So Martinez, an infield single, and the batter will be Carlos Lee. So it was a good play. There was no way he was going to get him. And he just started and the ball slipped. But even at a good grip, I don't believe he could have made the play. So Martinez with a home run and a single. And here is Carlos Lee. One hopper by the diving Hairston and down the line. On his way to third is Martinez. They'll hold him on a double blistered by the big bull rancher, Carlos Lee. Carlos Lee is really remarkable. You know, there's only a handful of players who have gone through an entire decade with at least 20 home runs in each year. And he did it from 2000 through 2009, and then for good measure did it in 2010. So Carlos Lee, his name goes right in there with Reggie Jackson in the 70s, Henry Aaron in the 60s, the Dodgers, Gil Hodges in the 50s, Mel Ott and Jimmy Fox in the 30s, and Babe Ruth in the 20s. Carlos Lee, the pride of Panama, who will be 36 in June. Infield has to play up, first base open. And here's Brian Bogusevic playing for Matt Downs. Second and third. 1 ball, no strikes. 2-0 the count. Bogusevic was a pitcher, and 4 years ago they switched him from the mound to the outfield. He went to Tulane, and he was two-way in Tulane, pitch and play the outfield. And ball 3. He's from Oak Lawn, Illinois, and he was not only a star athlete, he was also a member of the National Honor Society. He was named Chicago Tribune Scholar Athlete and De La Salle Scholar Athlete. Strike, 3-1. Brian signed for a big bonus 7 years ago. 6'3", 215, 28. 3-1. Foul ball, 3-2. Now with Bogusevic, he would have a very bad time hitting against Lucas Harrell, because where Harrell gets a lot of ground balls, Bogusevic hits a lot of ground balls. Now he's up against Belisario, trying to just blow him out of there. Bogusevic goes up the middle and to left usually. This time it's backhanded nicely by Herrera, and the runners have to hold. He was going up the middle, And Herrera makes a good play, and the runners hold.
Justin Maxwell.
So now, Justin Maxwell coming up after Herrera makes the good play. That ball sharply hit. Still 3-0 Astros with 1 out in the 7th. Now 1 out in the 8th. Maxwell struck out, walked, flied to center. Fastball in there. That was 95. Maxwell made that marvelous diving catch of the line drive in left center off the bat of Tony Gwynn back in the 5th inning. One and one. So look ahead if you're not keeping score. The Dodgers in the 8th. It'll be Tony Gwynn, Elian Herrera, and Bobby Abreu. Gwynn 0 for 3, robbed by Maxwell. Herrera 1 for 3. Abreu 1 for 1 with 2 walks. The gap is in left center. Gwynn shading Maxwell to right center. Abreu deep in left. 1 ball and 1 strike, and the infield still up. And here comes the runner. There was no bunt. Somebody missed the sign for a squeeze. Wow. You talk about naked unto the world. Either J.D. Martinez misread and thought it was a squeeze, or Maxwell missed the sign. But here comes Martinez. Hello. Well, as they say, the Astros are a young team, and that's a young man's mistake. Not much Dave Clark could have done, throw a rope around him, if indeed he had misread the squeeze. And now Maxwell up there, 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second. Almost a wild pitch. Nice play by Ellis. Belisario has 1 wild pitch. You can see Martinez appears a little antsy. I don't know if he's angry, anxious, or what. 1 and 2. And a high strike. Three and 2. So Martinez runs into an out for a run, reason or another. 3 and 2 to Maxwell. Chris Johnson waiting. 1 out. Carlos Lee at second base. And there's ball 4. So instead of the out, 2 on, and Chris Johnson coming up. You know, you can enjoy the long-standing tradition of hot dogs at Dodger Stadium Monday at 5:10. All Dodger dogs, $1. Compliments of Farmer John. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. Good deal. Strike to Johnson. So with 2 out here in the 8th inning, the Astros have first and second. They had second and third and nobody out. And a hard foul outside of third. 0 and 2 to Johnson. Johnson doubled into the right field corner. Then he hit into a double play. And last time up, grounded to short. So Ronald Belisario trying to wiggle off the hook. Ball 1. Johnson, as we mentioned, does not walk very much. He has walked 5 times. Two and two. His combination of walk and strikeout, 42 strikeouts, 5 walks, and Belisario has him 2 balls and 2 strikes. Remember Ron Johnson? Chris is his son. Fastball fouled away. Ron is the Red Sox first base coach. His dad played for the Kansas City Royals and then spent a lot of years managing in the farm system. Chris accepted a scholarship to Stetson University in Florida. 2 and 2. And a comebacker. Belisario throws to first, and the Dodgers are off the hook. 1 minute, the Astros had it second and third, nobody out. Martinez is nailed running on either he missed or the hitter did, and it's still 3-0. We have the Astros here tomorrow night at 7:10, and then Sunday afternoon. Then Milwaukee will be in for 4, and the Dodgers then will go out on the road. Colorado, Philadelphia, and Seattle before coming back. So hope you make your plans and be with us before the Dodgers pack their bags. Meanwhile, bottom of the 8th inning, Tony Gwynn, Elian Herrera, and Bobby Abreu against Lucas Harrell, who has gone 7 but never more until tonight. Gwynn grounded out, hit into a force play, and then robbed on that diving catch by Justin Maxwell. Lucas Harrell heaving a big sigh. He's made 90 pitches. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Todd Coffey is warming up. That's a strike. So Belisario came in to pitch the inning, and now Coffey heating up. A little ground ball to the right side. Altuve. 1 away here in the 8th. Say you're going to hit the road. You know you can take the Dodgers with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today. See every Dodger out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Dodgers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Herrera flared a single to left in the first inning and then grounded out twice. Elian 1 for 3, hitting .345. Dodgers struggling tonight against Harrell, and they'll meet the Houston ace tomorrow night, Bud Norris. 0-1. And that's going to be a base hit. So Herrera comes up with his second hit, a line single to center with one out. And that will bring up Abreu. Andre Ethier hitting behind Bobby. Now Brad Mills is coming to the mound. He had a left-hander warming up, Wesley Wright, in the bullpen earlier. And the bullpen has pretty much been a strength for the Astros. Brad Mills applauding, and that means great job, give me the ball. And they'll go to the pen for Wright, and we'll be back. Lucas Harrell made a total of 94 pitches, and there you see all singles. He had 17 ground ball outs. Remarkable. And of the 94 pitches, there was not one swing and a miss. If nothing else, the hitter fouled it off, dribbled it foul. So he's had a big night. He goes out where he can only win or have nothing to do with it. And we will see now about what Wesley Wright does. Interesting, Wesley Wright out of Montgomery, Alabama, was originally drafted by the Dodgers 9 years ago. 5'11" and maybe 165 pounds. And he's going to face Bobby Abreu and Andre Ethier. The Astro bullpen has done well this year. Fastball, ball one. Abreu, single to left and walked twice. Well, they were not going to let Harrell pitch to him and Ethier. Ethier, 3 fly balls. 1 ball and no strikes to Abreu. 3-0 Astros, 8th inning. That's a strike. 1-1. Bobby hitting .327 with a half a dozen runs batted in. Waiting, Andre Ethier. Wesley Wright is from Grady, Alabama. Population of about 2,000. And it was his father who taught him all about the game. And the Dodgers signed him when he was 19, 2003. Breaking ball missed. 2-1. Wesley made the stops up the road, Vero Beach, Jacksonville, then Las Vegas, and he joined the Astro organization in 2008. Kind of a baby-face guy. He's 27. Fastball, curve, slider, change. 2-1. Off the plate again. Herrera at first. It's 3-0 Astros, 1 out, 8th inning. And he walked him. So Abreu walks for the 3rd time. The batter now will be Andre Ethier, who flied deep to center and twice flied to left. Basically going the other way against a sinker ball pitcher, which is a common pattern for hitters. Now facing a left-hander. If there's one thing that Wesley Wright has done right this year is pitching against left-handers. The left-hand hitters against him are 2 for 28 with 13 strikeouts. That's a batting average of .071. But remember, Ethier has a far better record against left-handers than in the past. 0-1. Andre, as he stands at the plate, is hitting .333 against left-handers. Well, both men on the top of their games right now. Wright against left-handers and Ethier against left-handers. 0-1. 0-2. Three runs, 7 hits for the Astros, no runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Dodgers, 1 catches interference, the other a throwing error by Elian Herrera. Both occurred in the first inning for a run, and then J.D. Martinez hit one out with a man aboard, and that's it. And Lucas Harrell sweating it out. Just off the plate. Oh, was that a tough pitch to take? And with 2 strikes. That close. One and 2 to Andre Ethier. Fastball, 2-2. Right at the start of the year was 8-9. Well, Ethier representing the tying run at the plate. Lucas Harrell's hard work is out there on the table. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. And it's going to go into left field for a base hit. Hold on for Herrera, and the bases will be loaded for Jerry Hairston. So Ethier going the other way 3 times and is now 1 for 4 with a base hit to left. And with 1 out and the bases loaded, Hairston coming up. For the Astros, they have themselves to blame that they are in a bind. They are 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position, and they messed up with a bad bunt in the 7th, and then a squeeze play messed up in the 8th. So Brad Mills will once again go to the bullpen to bring in a right-hander, and we'll be back. things difficult for themselves. And the case in point had to be the 8th inning, a misread squeeze either from the hitter or the base runner, and that took them right out of an inning where they had second and third and nobody out. So now Justin Maxwell, who was at the plate, J.D. Martinez, who's out there in left field, have to be alone with their thoughts, and Wilton Lopez. He'll be 29. He's from Leon in Nicaragua and was originally signed by the Yankees. He has that great record, not only 3-0, 1 walk. And ball 1 to Hairston. Jerry returning after the hamstring pull that set him down since May the 6th. Robbed of a hit by Johnson, popped up and singled to right. Herrera's at third, Abreu's at second, Ethier at first. 1 ball, no strikes, and that's ball 2. And look at that remarkable record again of Wilton Lopez. His earned run average is 1.7. He has struck out 21 and walked 1, but he's behind 2-0. And ball 3. So the bullpen that has been a major force for Brad Mills and his pitching coach Doug Brocail shows sign of leaking, and you can understand how Lucas Harrell feels. He came out allowing just a base hit. He had pitched 7 1/3, and it's out of his hands completely. Ball 4 to force over the run. And that makes it Astros 3, Dodgers 1. Give Hairston a run batted in. A run brought in by Elian Herrera. And that run is charged to Harrell. You can close the book for Lucas Harrell, 7 1/3, 1 run, 5 hits. Now he has nothing to do with it, and here comes Brad Mills, and he gestures left-hand pitcher. He's already brought in Wesley Wright, and he wants to bring in Fernando Abad. And we have more time to watch Lucas Harrell turn and twist in the wind, and we'll be back. Surprise maneuver. They lift their starting first baseman James Loney with the side of a left-hander, and they bring up Ivan de Jesus. He will be facing Fernando Abad, the left-hander, 6'2", 205 pounds, out of La Romana. And it has been Lucas Harrell, Wesley Wright, and now Wilton Abad. Abad, no record in his 15th game. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Ivan De Jesus, a hero, with a double over the head of Chris Young in Arizona the other night. De Jesus batting .333, .349 since being called up. For the Dodgers, Bobby Abreu is at third. Andre Ethier represents the tying run at second, and Jerry Hairston a go-ahead run at first. 1 out. De Jesus will see a pitcher, fastball, slurvy kind of a curve, and a changeup. Kind of a crossfire delivery. And the ball game on the line here in the 8th. 3-1 Astros. Breaking ball strike. That's that slurvy kind of a curve. Abad is listed at 205. And they said after 2002 he added 35 pounds. Fastball. Waiting on deck, A.J. Ellis. Dodgers used Adam Kennedy earlier, and he hit back to the box. Fernando Abad was sent back to the minors a year ago because of wildness. And fouled away. That was his changeup. 0-2. So Harrell right, and now Lopez. And Harrell with his hands together, hoping to hold on. He could read his lips. He said, pinch hit for Loney? Wow. 1-2. Loney, by the way, was hitting .175 against left-handers. Reason enough. Fastball, foul tipped, and caught. So De Jesus strikes out. 2 down.
Number 17.
And now
A.J.
Ellis coming up. Ellis walked and was forced at third, grounded out twice, a disappointed De Jesus. And now Brad Mills coming out to talk to Tim Welke. Is he going to the bullpen again with a right-hand hitting catcher? It looks that way. So it's been Lucas Harrell, Wesley Wright, and Wilton Lopez. And we have some time. They're going to make a double switch, and we'll be back. Chris Johnson comes out, and on the mound, Fernando Rodriguez. So a couple of changes here in the 8th inning. Dodgers trying to get off the floor. It's 3-1 in favor of the Astros. Lucas Harrell started the inning, then Wesley Wright and Wilson Lopez, and now Fernando Rodriguez, and all the while Lucas Harrell is still twisting in the wind. Remember, he came in with a record of 3-3, and the game is no longer in his hands as Fernando prepares to pitch to A.J. Ellis. Ellis has walked, grounded to short, hit back to the box. Bases loaded, 2 out, 8th inning, 3-1 Astros. Rodriguez originally drafted by the Angels 9 years ago. Fastball strike. A.J. hitting .322, 4 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Rodriguez will be 28 the middle of June from El Paso, Texas. 1 ball and 1 strike. They want to look at Laz Diaz as if did he swing. The first baseman, Pablo Slee, comes over to talk to Diaz. Now going back to his position. It looks like he's having fun with Diaz more than anything else. 1-1. Fastball and a high playable fly ball. Waiting is Justin Maxwell, and that's the inning. For the Dodgers, they huff and they puff and they get 1. Lucas Harrell, a big sigh of relief, and at the end of 8, 3-1 Houston. The 9th inning. Don't forget, game 2 coming up tomorrow night at 7:10. The ace of the Astros staff, Bud Norris, with a record of 5-1. Chad Billingsley trying to get to the 500 mark. That's game 2 of the 3-game series. And then J.A. Happ and Chris Capuano pitching Sunday afternoon. Well, it took 3 pitches by Fernando Rodriguez to get the out. In the 8th inning, the Dodgers rearranged their furniture. For instance, Elian Herrera goes from second base to third. Ivan De Jesus picks up at second base. And Jerry Hairston, who had been at third, winds up at first. And on the mound, Josh Lindblom. So Lindblom will be facing Chris Snyder, the catcher, then Marwin Gonzalez and Jose Altuve. Snyder has struck out, lost a hit on a nice play by Tony Gwynn, and walked. Josh Lindblom, who's been the #1 man for the 8th inning, now asked to pitch the ninth with a record of 2-0 and a strike. Lindblom, 7 walks, 19 strikeouts, has done a tremendous job taking over that 8th inning spot. Off speed, 1-1. When the Dodgers bat in the 9th inning, D. Gordon is due to lead off. 1-1. Ball 2. Astros scored a run in the first inning. Altuve doubled, took third on a force play. There was catcher's interference, and then on a ground ball by Lee trying to get the double play, Gordon and Herrera combined. That's going to go down the line and foul, and Herrera threw the ball away and the run scored. In the 3rd inning, Lowry doubled with 1 out, and J.D. Martinez hit a home run against Clayton, and that made it 3-0, and it stayed that way until the Dodgers scratched and came up with 1 in the bottom of the 8th. (3-1) Astros trying to win their 4th in a row. Popped in the air, foul, and out of play. The Astros are not only trying to extend a winning streak to 4, they're trying to snap a Dodger winning streak of 4 here at Dodger Stadium. They've also beaten the Astros 6 of the last 7. And there he is, Lucas Harrell, waiting and hoping, and he has to get through the 9th. 3-2. Down in the bullpen, their closer, and if you have any memory at all of the Philadelphia Phillies, Brett Myers begins to loosen up. Myers has an earned run average of 1.6. Whoa, a little chin music. So Snyder twisting and turning, having to get out of the way of that thing. And he will slowly go to first.
Third baseman, number 9, Marwin Gonzalez.
So Snyder, who came into this game hitting in the number 8 slot and batting only 177, and he's walked twice. That was a little too close for comfort, I think, and Bobby Meacham came over to say something to him. Marwin Gonzalez hitting .214. Ball 1. Though AJ going out to talk to him. Gonzalez finishing up for Chris Johnson at third base. Marwin Gonzalez is from Venezuela and was originally signed by the Cubs when he was 16 years old. Then the Red Sox chose him out of the Cubs organization last year, and then Boston made a deal for Marco Duarte and sent Marwin to the Astros. He usually chokes up on the bat a little bit. He's above the knob right now. 2-0. They say he has good bat control. He has not played in the big leagues until this year. During his career, he's played 6 positions. In fact, the only 2 positions he has not played, catcher and right field. Whoa, ball 3. So Lindblom struggling a little bit. Josh, 7 walks, 19 strikeouts. Three and 0. And ball 4. So Lindblom, normally with fine control, comes in the 9th inning and walks Snyder and Gonzalez. 2 on, nobody out. And if you're struggling with control, the last man in the world you want to see is coming up, Jose Altuve. Honeycutt gone out to try and talk to Lindblom. Altuve, who stands maybe 5'6", they've debated it, but he's a heck of a good player. Hitting .314, 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. He'll be talking to Dave Clark for a moment. Altuve from Maracay in Venezuela. They say he was an ideal number 2 hitter because he uses the whole field. He's very patient, but they have him in the number 1 slot, and he has 2 doubles tonight. A double to left, and he scored a run, and you can see Todd Coffey getting ready. Then in the 5th inning, Altuve hit a hard ground ball off the diving Hairston's glove. Hairston going one way. Gordon couldn't get it, and it wound up his 2nd double. You always have to worry about him bunting, too. He has 9 infield hits, showing bunt. Popped it in the air, foul. A.J. makes the catch and can't hold it. Looked like he had the glove on it, couldn't hold. And not glove, but mitt. And there is a difference. This close. There, not there. See how they can fold and then open the catcher's mitt? Actually, the ball hit him right on the wrist. It missed the mitt. 0-1 the count. Oh, and 2. Hairston and Herrera back up now. They figure with 2 strikes, Altuve will not be trying to bunt. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Astros. 1 run, 6 hits for the Dodgers. 2 on, nobody out in the 9th. Missed inside, ball 1. Tough customer up there in Altuve. He has 9 infield hits. He rarely swings and misses. That makes him particularly tough. He swings and misses coming into this game only 5% of the time. Got him on the inside corner. It's amazing, isn't it? Big Snyder and equally big enough Gonzalez walk, and then Lindblom is asked to thread the eye of a needle against a guy about 5'6", and he takes care of him. So 1 out, and the batter now, Jed Lowry, who has walked and doubled. You have Snyder at second, kind of a tough man to score in a base hit. Gonzalez at first, 1 out. And on deck, J.D. Martinez. Fastball strike, 0-1. We told you about Lowry kind of teaching himself to be a switch hitter. Natural right-hander, and hitting left-handed, he's hitting more than right-handed. He's hitting .284 from this side of the plate. One ball, 1 strike. So the Astros possibly ran themselves out of the inning in the 8th. A busted squeeze play, either missed by the hitter or misread by the runner. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 2. Lowry with 1 out is basically a fly ball hitter. Dodgers back in double play depth. Ellis, no doubt, talking to Lindblom as to how they were pitching Lowry throughout the game. His double in the third inning was a big hit, because then it was followed by Martinez, who hit a home run. Well, Martinez is waiting again to follow him. Well, it was Martinez, remember, who came to the plate on that missed squeeze. Foul tipped, and down he goes. So Lindblom walks 2, turns right around and strikes out 2, and now faces J.D. Martinez. High letter high fastball to take Lowry down. Martinez 0 for 1 in the past against Lindblom, struck out. J.D. reached on catcher's interference in the first inning. Ball 1. Then hit the 2-run home run in the third. Struck out in the fifth. Single to the hole at short in the eighth. Eventually got to third and was either right or wrong and broke for the plate and took them right out of an inning. The other questionable player in it was Justin Maxwell. Fouled away. 1-1. Two out, 3-1 Astros. Foul back, 1-2. The interesting thing about J.D. Martinez, he's done very well in scoring runners from third base. He's gotten 10 guys home from third already this year. Two on, 2 out, 1-2 the count. 3-1 Astros, top of the ninth. And that's going to be hit in the air. Coming over hard is Abreu. So Bobby runs it down. The Astros leave 2 in the ninth, and we're heading for the bottom of the ninth. 3-1 Houston. Lead, and Brett Myers out of Jacksonville, Florida, who was a first-round pick by the Phillies back in 1999, is asked to close it up. He has been brilliant. He saved 11 out of 12, a great ERA of 1.6. He has walked 2 and struck out 16. Myers at 6'4", 225. And D. Gordon will start it off. Scott Van Slyke comes out. And then it'll be Tony Gwynn. Myers used to be a boxer when he was 12 and 13. That's a strike. In fact, his dad was a boxing promoter and trained people like Michael Spinks and Larry Holmes. Off speed, 1-1. Larry Holmes trained for many of his fights with Brett's dad. That's in there, 1-2. And Larry thought that Brett would be a great white hope, and his dad said, "Thanks a lot, Larry, but he's heading for baseball." Ground ball to Altuve. 1 out. For Gordon, he goes 1 for 4. And the batter now will be Scott Van Slyke. So the Dodgers went to the bench 3 times tonight. Kennedy hit back to the box. De Jesus struck out. And here's Van Slyke. Van Slyke, 1 home run, 6 runs batted in. The home run, of course, the big one as a pinch hitter to beat St. Louis. That's a strike. For Brett Myers, he had 1 start against the Dodgers. Remember, the Dodgers and Phillies played back-to-back in 08 and again in 09. The thing about Brett Myers, you may remember, he was knocking down Dodger hitters, and Dodger pitchers were not responding, and Manny Ramirez popped off. Manny was quite angry that, among other things, Chad Billingsley wasn't throwing at Philadelphia hitters. So every now and then that boxing mentality comes out of Brett Myers on the mound. 1-2 the count to Van Slyke. Brett Myers, so they tell me, when he, as a first-round pick, when he joined Philadelphia, he antagonized everybody. He was only 19 years old, and he really appeared like, a character in a baseball movie, popping off, full of himself, as my mother would say. 1-2. Off speed, 2-2. However, those years have long since gone. Brett has settled down and has become an excellent reliever. 2-2. And down goes Van Slyke on that big, slow curveball. So the Dodgers are down to their last out. Up there, down there. Take a seat. Tony Gwynn grounded out, hit into a force play, robbed of a hit on a diving catch by Justin Maxwell, and grounded out in the 8th inning. Brett Myers, facing Gwynn, is a very good guitar player. He writes his own music, and he's writing his own music right now. Fastball high, ball 1. Elian Herrera, 2 for 4, single on deck. And that's in there. 1 ball and 1 strike to Tony. Brett Myers will be 32 the middle of August. Comebacker that's deflected over to shortstop, picked up by Lowry, too late. So Tony Gwynn gets a base hit, literally and figuratively, off Brett Myers. Dodgers are still alive with 2 out. Went off his right knee, deflected to Lowry, but Gwynn, flying down the line, legs it out. So Herrera will be coming up. Dodgers had 2 hits after the first inning and through 7 innings. They had the hits in the 8th inning, 2 of them that produced their only run. And now a 2-out hit in the 9th. That's ball 1, gets away from Snyder, and Gwynn goes to second. And we'll wait to see. It'll be a wild pitch for Brett Myers. That would be his first wild pitch, breaking ball in the dirt. So Herrera trying to get aboard and keep it alive for Bobby Abreu. Another tough moment for Lucas Harrell, so near and yet so far for the right-hander who went 7 1/3. 1 ball and no strikes. The Astro bullpen collectively has blown only 4 saves. Now, but Brett Myers, he's 11 out of 12. 1-1. Breaking ball, 1-2. So Ilian Herrera, 10 years in the minors. And Brett Myers trying to put him away, relying on all of his experience. Tony Gwynn at second base. Fastball just missed at 94. Waiting on deck, Bobby Abreu. The deuce is wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. A runner at second, and the Astros lead by 2. Got him. So Lucas Harrell sweats it out, picks up a victory, and goes 4-3. Clayton Kershaw suffers the loss. He's 4-2. Brett Myers does it again. He saved 12 out of 13. The Astros have won 4 in a row, and the Dodgers, after beating the Astros 4 straight, get one up tonight. A reminder tomorrow night, it'll be Bud Norris and Chad Billingsley. A reminder, stay